Welcome, welcome, family, to the Floor is Yours podcast. Tonight, we have something great in store for you guys. So go ahead, Flex. Let's get this intro going so we can welcome everybody back in the right, proper fashion.
I'm writing this, try not to cry. You stabilize my environment, inspired when you have my eye. My youth was consumed by vain beauty. Little did I know that vanity could masquerade the unruly. Coolly high love times, we reminisce, paint a vivid picture. Rush to come and lift her. Brethren, I don't want to see another sister get left up creek by another mister.
Awesome, awesome. Again, welcome back, family, to the Floor is Yours podcast.
We
And
here.
hello to my amazing panel. It is your girl Luna. Y'all listen, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you tell your family, your family's family, and your baby's daddy family, because everybody is going to want to be a part of this amazing event tonight. Listen, we got some new faces here tonight. Of course, y'all know it's your girl Luna. We got Coach G, but we got Jamel as well here and Mars. So y'all listen, Kings, before we actually jump into tonight, just briefly tell the family who y'all are, and we'll start with Coach G, and you can just pass the baton, King.
Oh, peace. Well, good evening to the virtual world out there. I want to greet you all. I'm Coach G, part of this beautiful podcast. I myself, man, I'm a lover of Black women. So much so, this is going to sound funny, but it's gotten me in trouble in times past. I love you all that much. But yes, that's what this is about, loving and being able to uplift, being able to edify, pour into. I myself, married going on 9 years, we definitely have that relationship. And one thing that I have learned in these 9 years is to be able to grow, adapt, and be able to change. That is a one of the ultimate symbols of love is not putting someone in a box. You can't put people in boxes. And that's honestly what I have learned. And that's what I'm going to be bringing, some of that newness, freshness, and being able to flow with it. So again, I greet you, Coach G. Peace.
And we'll jump to Brother Mars.
Okay, Mars, go ahead, King.
Peace. I appreciate you guys having me on here again. Like they said, my name is Mars. I am a community servant, a mentor, and I am me. Small intro, but happy to be here.
Me is cool. What's up, Jamel?
What's going on, y'all? I am Jamel J. Facts Lashley, host of the Facts Only podcast, personal consultant, and professional shit talker. I adore the Black woman. Much like Coach G, she's got me in trouble many times in the past, but I love her nonetheless. I'm hoping tonight's going to be stimulating. I got a question, though, before we even get started. Did y'all get all dudes with dreads on purpose? I'm just curious, because it's like, that's ironic. Like, that's uncanny how we all got dressed. That's insane.
Look, not on purpose, but I'm digging it. I'm digging it. And Flex, the producer, we can't leave you out, King. None of us is really new to this platform, but Kings, again, that's on the panel. Thank you. And Flex, the producer, we're not going to forget you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, you know me. It's not a whole lot. Just glad to be here, happy to serve. And man, thank you all for being on the platform and helping us, address this important topic.
Absolutely. So tonight we have something good for you guys. We were talking about this month is National Women's History Month. And sometimes we forget the biggest part of what we need as women. So I am so excited to have these Black Kings literally give a letter to women and be able to say, like, hey, our country's history is so rich when it comes to women contribution, whether it's Black, white, rich, poor, religious or not, or young or old. But tonight we have 4 men that is prepared to present their letter of love to women, addressing the importance of mental health as it relates to truly having the capacity to protect our women. Why is that so important? Because in media, we're showing how Black men really don't respect us queens. And let's just call a spade a spade. But tonight is my honor to be able to allow for you guys to be the voice of Black men and show us women that you do want to actually protect us. So how about this? How does men's mental health contribute to the well-being of women? And any one of you guys can jump in on this tonight.
Oh, that's a good one. A man's mental health contributing to the state of the woman in and of itself is, I don't want to call it sacrificial, but I want to call it complementary. If I myself, right, am the pace setter. I'm a Christian. We gotta put that out there. I ain't pushing nothing on nobody. I'm just giving my perspective. If I myself am the pace setter, right, I'm supposed to be the provider, the protector, etc. I set the pace for what it is that's gonna happen with my woman. She's gonna follow my lead. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm not okay, she's not gonna be okay. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm messed up, if I'm emotionally distraught, if I'm unstable, then she's gonna be unstable. There's lacking security there. If there's no stability with me, she's gonna lack security. Like where I'm lacking, she's also gonna lack. So that's why I feel it's important for us to address mental health to that effect, and why it's important with regards to us being okay for Black women to be okay.
I definitely love it.
I would and just piggybacking because as men, our history, dating back is we are the face of the house, or I would at least say the shoulders that the house kind of stand on. And without that, the base, without the foundation of that house, of the family actually being where he needs to be mentally, it's good as a trickle down effect. Eventually gonna show. So as much as you think nobody notices, the reality is everybody picks up on it. So much so that you walk into the room, and if you're in a negative state, you'll eventually start getting the reputation of being an energy drainer the moment you walk into the room, because our mental health or our energy, that which we produce, that which we project, actually holds some value to the real world. And I don't think we really realize our contribution to the world. So that mental health is necessary, because without it, everything else seems to fall down.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What about you, Mars? What's your
Absolutely.
thought?
Absolutely. I think Coach G definitely hit it on the nail that mental energy is that powerful that it can sway things and sway other people's mood. It's kind of contagious, you know. So for me, I think it's that you can't take care of anyone else, which is kind of what Jamil, touched on, was you can't take care of anyone else unless you yourself is taken care of, especially starting here. I like to say it starts here always, you know what I mean? Because you are with you 24/7. And then also with Jamil, he said that where she's lacking, I'm lacking. You know what I mean? That goes with the contingency part. However, if you are married and you have a relationship with somebody, even if it is a marriage or just somebody else, you, if your mental health is strong, you're picking up the slack where she's lacking. So
Yeah. And my part, just real simple, not to belabor any of the points, but again, not to even get religious, but the Bible talks about God gave us a sound mind. I mean, we can be physically fit, we can have all the money in the world and whatever house, but if our mind is not right, it really just can make all that null and void. So, just one of the biggest stigmas, we talk about this on many shows, is how we, as especially Black men, look at it as a weakness as a whole. Some of us don't, of course, the people here, but as a whole, our community look at mental health, getting help there as a weakness. And I'll just tell anybody, I do it and I participate in it regularly. If the head is not right, literally the head is not right, and it really just will tank the rest. So it's
Right.
important for us to be who we are to be, so that our mates can, just have a better shot at being who they need to be as well.
That's a fact.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
And speaking from like just a mental health standpoint, which is why I was so honored to be asked to moderate this thing, is who you are mentally is really what you see. So our reality has zero to do with what we actually physically see, but all to do with what we believe. So if the Black male does not believe that he actually have that leader role, then sometimes the submissiveness can impact his ability to really show up for us Black queens. So you have to know that you're valuable. But if we live in a culture and a community that literally demeans the role of the Black male, then sometimes that mental visual of who you are can sometimes be tainted. So you might not see yourself as a leader. You might not see yourself as someone whose voice needs to be heard. You might not see yourself as needed in the community. And let's be real, queens. We have sometimes put this "I'm Miss Independent" a little too much into play. So that hinders our black males from really being able to show up. So my question to you guys as a panel is, does that impact you, that miss independence? And if so, how can we as black women kind of let you guys in a little bit more to really help us in your own role as a black male in our lives?
Historically speaking, it was necessary at one point. Historically speaking, it was absolutely necessary for our women to be independent. Unfortunately, they were put in a position to do everything on their own. We were taken out of the homes and such. I'm pretty sure everybody here is savvy enough with the history behind it. But we were taken out of our homes, incarcerated, murdered, et cetera, et cetera. They had to do everything on their own. I think more now than ever, it's up to us to show them outside of, because really they didn't put themselves there. Yeah. There's a societal stigma around doing for yourself and things of that nature. But ultimately, realistically, they didn't put themselves there. I feel like the burden is on us to show them, hey, it's safe to trust us. It's safe to believe that we're going to take care of you and do the things we're supposed to do. You don't got to do everything on your own. That's my position.
That's dope, man. I'll just add that piece right there of showing that you could be trusted. Or I tell guys all the time, man, it's okay to have to earn the trust. Right. And I think that that's the nature of what we are. Do I want to go in and not have to fight for my position? Absolutely. But my thing is, I understand where we are and the reason where we are, and I have no bars with that. I mean, we go to work, we have to literally interview for a position, right? A number of things. We go, have to get a driver license. We have to prove that we can drive. Education, number of things. So I feel that if we're wanting a person who is totally capable of doing it on her own, if she's had to do it on her own, us earning that trust, I don't think that there's an issue with it. And I think it's healthy to do it anyway.
Absolutely. There shouldn't be an issue with it. There shouldn't be an issue with it. I mean, if you understand, if you're of any level of maturity in any way, shape, or form, you should have some level of understanding. But that goes, to me, it goes into a way deeper conversation concerning understanding that femininity, because it's demonized for the most part. Like I said, it's a huge conversation there. Like, there's a lot to unpack in that specific topic, but it's okay, you know what I'm saying, let me rephrase that. There's nothing wrong with a woman feeling like she has to. There's everything wrong with you allowing her to continue to do so and expecting her to not want to do it. Is just wake up and not want to do it. Like, that's an issue. Much like what Flex was saying, like, you got to earn that. Like, that's a great analogy. Like, we earn jobs, we earn our pay. Like, that's an amazing analogy. Like, why can't you earn the trust of the person that you're supposed to love? Like, I'm actually going to carry that with me forever now. Yeah, that's a dope analogy.
So Coach G and Mars, how do women, how do you guys feel women can gain that trust? What are some practical steps that men could do to help their counterparts trust them?
I would first go to say, and it piggybacks to a degree, and it kind of puts that, I guess, accountability back on our shoulders. Us 1, 2, 3, 4 men know that. Us 4 men know the responsibility and the maturity, but we also live in a world, and it seems like every day we're finding more and more men that have no idea. And when I say they have no idea, even myself and the Queen, we've had a situation similar where it's like somebody just showed how ignorant. How ignorant he was, in age had nothing to do with it. So it comes a time for that accountability and one understanding. It's going to take for us men of understanding who women really are, first and foremost. And that's honestly where I would say my issue, can't speak for everybody else, but my issue came in from my just upbringing and understanding of women at the adolescent age. Because where it started, it was just a game. And if you don't have those OGs in your life to kind of direct you and let you know, hey, these humans, yes, they're women, but these humans, that's what they are. It's not a game. And most of us really didn't hear that until our 20s. So we have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, almost 10 years of just thinking and treating women like objects and so on and so forth. So it's going to take a while. And for women, I would say patience, but we can't ask you to be patient forever either. that's kind of where that balance, that's kind of where that trust, fellas earning their trust, it kind of goes back. We really have to realize where we are and then who our helpmeets are. Until we have that understanding, maturity, mentally, it's going to be that continual circle, if I'm honest with you. Because we'll get hot in our pants and handle our business, not realizing what that feeling actually is. So then we're continuing to perpetuate the cycle, not realizing where it's coming from.
That's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mark,
Humanity. You made a really big point
go
with
ahead.
that
Yeah.
humanity. My fault. Humanity. That's a huge word. Huge word. Like, oh my God. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I think Coach G definitely hit it on the nose there. I mean, he said you got to understand, a woman first. I mean, to try to gain her trust back, understand what she wants, understand what she needs, right? What she's telling you about, what's going on. That's the first thing because you have to listen. So, but I think, like he said, it's just the upbringing of how you see how to treat women as well, right? So, I think the biggest thing for my generation was the peers. He said that people treat women as objects, especially nowadays, because of the music and society. That's how they treat women nowadays. You know what I mean? As an object. Back in the days, you had 112 trying to serenade. You know what I mean? So that's what the movement was back then, and that's why they say chivalry is dead because of certain idols and stuff. So yes, what somebody mentioned in the comments that earning that trust is very overwhelming. It can be, but if you want to really understand that woman, that specific woman, you'll do it. And he said earning and fighting are two different things as well. So you'll fight, and with that fight, you'll earn that trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to add on that, he talked about it's overwhelming. It absolutely can,
It
especially if
can be.
you're
Yeah.
learning on the go, which a lot of us are. We're literally in the mix learning how to be good husbands or good mates, you know, and not to make excuses because that doesn't excuse bad behavior. Because I mean, there are some basics that we're failing tremendously at. And again, I don't want to make excuses for that. But again, there is a point to where when you're learning, it's in the midst, right?
Mhm.
And I think part of that challenge too is for your mate to know who she is. And the one of the worst thing to do is to see something as a leader that's bad for your family, or and your mate is literally embracing that bad thing. And we can't force it. You got to lead by grace, patient, understanding, and that thing right there. And you got to be a diplomat. When you're a leader, man, it's you can't go in there and like, hey, it's my way. I'm the man, and I'm going to lead with an iron fist. That doesn't work. So it really takes patience beyond what most of us think that patience can even be extended to. Grace on the level that some people think that you're foolish for extending it, but it literally takes that. So I like that old book where it says men are from Mars and women are from Venus. you know it's so true that we think alike. I mean, we think differently, but we have to figure out as leaders what drives our women, what what motivates them, what are their fears, what are their passions, what are the things they deal with day in and day out. And all those things are important to consider when you're trying to figure out the direction of the family, right?
Right.
If you don't, man, I mean, the whole thing, the head represents, you know, it, they don't look at an organization and say they got bad employees. They look at that CEO or
Get
that
out of my
boss and
head.
figure
Get
out,
out of my
like,
head.
hey, you
Get
need to
out of
get.
my head.
Well, speak on it then, brother. What you
That's
got?
exactly what I was about to say. Like nobody ever looks at a company and be like, "Yo, oh yeah, the company's bad because of the employees." Nah, the management, the higher ups are who it is that people look at when the company's not doing well. They don't look at the shareholders when the company's going under financially. That doesn't make any sense. That
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. I completely agree, bro. You stole that right out of my head.
And
good
what I will
deal.
say is it's so important, guys, because listen, us as women, we want to have that CEO. We want to have that manager, that leader. So sometimes I think men, y'all put too much pressure on yourselves, which is why I wanted to have this platform because we want y'all to lead. We want you to show up. And I don't think we look at it as y'all having to be perfect to do it. It's just if you at least say, look, I'm trying and I'm striving to do it, it's the times when that don't happen. So women who is watching this tonight, I want y'all to see that it is 4 strong black men that's sitting here to say, like, I am choosing to step in my leadership role. I am choosing to love my women. I am choosing to do something different, because tonight we're actually going to play an excerpt of the Malcolm X speech. And I think is a great segue into this, because the next phase that we want to really talk about is, what does that actually look like now that I'm choosing to step in my role as a leader, as a Black male, for my Black women, for women in general around the world? What does that look like after this? So Flex, if you can, we're going to cue up
Yeah.
this speech, and we're going to go into the next questions here.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, I don't have the video, so I guess
Okay.
since I don't have it, I'll just read it.
All
Um, I'm not the best, but I think we'll make do. And it's just an excerpt from a speech that he had, and we all heard it before, but I think it's very appropriate for this conversation. But he said the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. And the most neglected person in America is the Black woman. So that's the excerpt I pulled out and would like for us to discuss.
So,
Oh
and
man.
you got it?
Yeah. So this, and it's not to change. It's not changing, but it's actually insinuating that, because was it, I believe, Elijah Muhammad not too long at the same time had a similar quote that said, "There is no such thing as a no good woman. If you meet a no good woman, a no good man made her that way."
Oh my
Oh,
God.
wow. Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
And where I believe where he's coming with that, no woman uh, innately comes here to tear down. No woman innately comes here wanting to be independent and just do it on her own. But all of the relationships from the beginning, um, from fatherhood,
Yeah.
and I think it's real. These conversations is definitely real, because it always challenges you. How do we talk to our kids? How do we talk to our daughters? Because that first relationship, again, if the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman, unfortunately, that probably started with her father.
Yeah.
And what type of anger, what type of projection was he kind of putting on, to his daughter, that probably put that seed in there? Who knows? But again, it's something that we have to look at in our parenting skills, because again, if we're the head, that's kind of where it's going to start. And then going into, again, is a game. It's like once we turn 18, I can speak for myself. I dealt with the prostitution world. So, you get into that game, and again, it's almost like, okay, what can I get? Let's say you're looking at these women as an object to get, because it's like you hit puberty, and it's all right. At puberty, we know it's time to sow oats, so that's all that we think about, in that time. So, again, it comes from, again, how we're looking at it, and then the image that we have of our own women, because then we put that on to our wives, we put that on to our daughters, and in some cases we can deny what we see from our mothers. And I think that's definitely huge, because again, some of the stuff that mothers have spoken, we then take that on and then put that on our families, not realizing that it comes from one of the people that we love the most.
Yeah.
So
That's real, man. I'll just
Agree.
say that to that point, what we get from our parents is gospel as we're learning and how to figure out how to navigate this world. They are our first line of communication or of information that we receive. And then also, if we want to be honest, someday I'm sure we all been guilty of, and I use that word intentionally, but the music, that old saying that we are what we eat, and the same is with the spirit. If we're feeding ourselves with music that degrades our women, I mean, it's everybody's not, as strong minded as everybody else, and they literally take that on. I mean, if they're not learning it from the right way to do it, they're gonna learn it from other
at some
sources.
point.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
let's be honest, man. It's behavior. We
Right.
talked about this before. The behavior that is accepted and praised and glorified for men. If a woman turns around and do it, she's degraded and called some of the worst things that we can think of. So it's just that double standard there. But again, I put the responsibility on us that we make things the way it is. No, but I think we're responsible in part for setting a tone in a avenue to overcome some of what we dealt with in the past.
I agree. I mean, even going back to what Coach G just said about prostitution, it's a fact. I mean, just to put it into perspective, prostitutes wouldn't exist if there wasn't a market for them in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? So I completely agree. Like, and I love the fact that you brought up music because I consider the five senses modes of consumption. You feel me? Like we take things in through the way we interact with the world. You feel me? So I don't personally agree. I don't take up the mantle that some people are stronger than others with regards to what they consume. I just think some people have different vices. Like I might
Yeah,
be strong enough to reject music, but I might be weak with regards to listening to movies or watching movies. You
yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
no
So
doubt.
we're all influenced to some extent. But to speak to what Malcolm X said, I can't agree any more than what he is. And speak considering the fact that he was really specific about how he used his language, he said the things that he said in a very specific way. You know what I'm saying? The most disrespected person in America is a black woman. I can't disagree more. I cannot agree more than that. Like that's a flat out factual statement. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. I can't agree more. Like from the guys being locked up, being taken out the house, the police don't care, even killing them, you know what I'm saying, shooting them down and things of that nature, just as much they shooting the guys down. You understand what I'm saying? They're completely left defenseless. They have to take care of themselves.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? And the most neglected, I think that goes without saying. I think that goes without saying. And then the minute you try to I'm sorry if I'm grandstanding here. You know what I'm saying? But as a guy that tends to usually speak up really boastfully about this kind of thing, like the minute you open your mouth to say these kinds of things out loud, you're considered to be a simp or something like that, or you're somehow appealing. You're trying to use it in order to attract female attention. I'm like, yo,
yeah,
bro, I'm not a bad looking guy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying these things because they facts. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, there's a reason why it's being stated. We can't even accept the fact that a woman is a human, like Coach G was saying just a moment ago. That humanity is erased. You feel me? They're left down to just simply being an object to be used for either satisfaction, cooking, or cleaning, or something. Whatever a weird ass. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit passionate. Whatever top like specific role you want to put them in, they're literally being used without thought for their humanity. And that's really what it all boils down to. You're not protected because I don't see you as a human. You're not being respected because I don't see you as a human. You're neglected because there's no reason for me to look at you as something that needs to be upkept because you're not a human being. You understand what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
really what it boils down to. That's real. Like I said, this conversation goes so deep, it's insane. There's a legit demonization of femininity, even of itself, to the point where we can't even express our feelings as men. We can't express our feelings as men because it's seen as feminine. You understand
yeah.
what I'm sorry. I'm gonna chill. Yo, say what you gotta say.
Nah,
I'm gonna chill,
bro.
bro. I'm gonna chill.
Let me
I'm gonna
now
chill.
let me say this because
I'm gonna get some water.
that's how far, if you think about it, how far the switch was. For those again, y'all listen, the intro show is called, or the intro theme is called Women's Worth. I go a lot into like African history, and for those that don't know, um, in the United States, it's not common for women to lead, quote unquote. However, our motherland, there were like centuries of time where women were empress and leaders, of countries. Even most recent times, Emperor Haile Selassie the First, who's Emperor of Ethiopia. Those that don't know, his wife was crowned empress before he was crowned emperor. Hence, where the term Ras Tafari come from. Ras means a region or like an heir to a throne, and Tafari was his first name. So the whole mention of Ras Tafari means someone that's second to the throne, because his wife was the empress of Ethiopia before he was crowned emperor. Then going even further, even in Egypt, Queen Hatshepsut, she reigned in Egypt for 20 years, as the empress, with an entire country under her, reign, so to go from being under a woman's rule at one point to now basically telling her you have no place, to speak over me, or you have no authority. That's a huge slap in the face, one, to our ancestors, to our motherland, even the deities. When you get into the Egyptian deities, at the very beginning, they were both there together. Like there was no male deity that created the female deity. It was Geb and Nut there together from the beginning. And this was masculine and feminine. So again, the humanness, you got to see each other as one with, you can't have one without the other.
Impossible.
And then even,
Impossible. I
yes,
agree with you.
then even in the Hebrew, There's a term in the Hebrew that
More.
goes Ezer Kinegdo. Ezer Kinegdo means the power to oppose. Now, when you think of opposing, oftentimes that's something negative, but it's talking about that woman's ability to bring balance to the male. And when a man rejects that, and he's rejecting what seems to be some iron sharpening iron, again, he's then denying himself the growth that he has because, again, the two are one.
Go
And if
deeper.
you separate that one, again, you're just having a complete left side of the brain experience where the right side of the brain, they're functioning
There's no
together. They're
balance.
supposed to be.
Facts.
Yeah.
So,
Facts.
Yo,
Even coming down to the Greek word for Holy Spirit from a Christian perspective is pneuma, breath, the very air in your lungs. Are you kidding me, bro? I'm sorry. Mars, please speak, because I won't shut up. I won't shut up.
Hey, I love it, bro. I love it. You speaking some facts. It's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with it. And even to back to Coach G, what he just said, that balance, right? Bringing that balance. I jot down on myself that I never saw my true adult potential until I was with my wife. So it just seeing her do some certain things when I'm down, and then vice versa, me doing things when she's down. It's just like I said, catching that lacking. And so back to Malcolm X's point, it's not just in America, it's in the world. A woman of color in the world is the most disrespected person. A woman in general is the most disrespected person. Throw some color in there and it's worse. We all understand that. It doesn't have to just boil down to America, and that's the problem. And so when you talk about that, and then you bring in Coach G brings in the history, which nobody knows. I mean, because it's not talked about, because nobody cares. So it's all about education, I believe, and I think that when you are able to identify that, and especially being a black man, that even you should want to protect a woman of color that much more. I know for me, and just like Jamil, I'm passionate about it as well. If I've ever heard anybody say something about a black woman, I have something to say back, especially if
Yeah.
it's a black male. It's like,
Facts.
most
Facts.
likely, where did you come from, sir? And that's usually
So
my
no
first.
other culture, bro, no other culture has this problem. Even in
No,
movies, bro.
I mean,
When the Titanic, we all saw the Titanic, and now I swear I'm gonna land my plane and shut up and let Luna do her thing. You know what I'm saying? Even when the Titanic was going down, who was the first ones off the boat? Please let me know. Anybody? Women and children. You don't even got to finish it. I'll say it. Women and children. Nobody will argue the fact that women and children need to be protected. That's just, we already know that it's ingrained in us. Why we fight against that? Women saying protect black women is, and that somehow causes a knee-jerk reaction for you to act some kind of way is weird to me. It's the weirdest energy. It's the weirdest energy. I'm gonna land my plane. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, y'all are doing it. That is what this is for. Like, I want it for women to hear that there are men that truly do care about us. And being married to one, Coach G, love you, baby. But being married to a black king that actually cares, that's why this love letter was so important, because there's so many women out here that do feel alone, and so many women out here that's settling for the least of these because they're like, well, I'm not gonna find nobody else. So if we actually want to dive in even deeper, so Mars, I know that you're into the mental health stuff. So what are some mental health barriers do you feel is there that keeps our black men not protecting our black women?
I'd say the national stigma, just or the universal stigma that we don't have to. I mean, it's not our job anymore. I mean, it's a new day. It's 2022. I mean, and oh, now they want to be independent, so I don't need no. I mean, just like Jamil said, it's instinctively in our DNA to take care of and protect women. So I think, like I said, it all boils down to that education, the lack of knowing what's going on. And if we do say, and if the fact is true that the woman of color is the most disrespected, their mental is being affected.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
That's good, man. And then just speaking on, who is doing the disrespecting, the neglecting, and not protecting. It comes from many avenues, but the worst that we've seen, they say most crimes happen in your closest proximity. So a lot of times it is the black male, and add fuel to the fire is when black women are even attacking and hurting each other as well. So again, it's a bunch of whys behind the what is going on, but understanding that gives just some insight. But going forward, what we're going to do about it, and I think addressing the mental health piece is most important. There are some things that are, when you understand mental health more, some things that we've normalized is really some of
Got to
the
be
issues,
destroyed. Get rid
you
of it.
know.
Throw it away.
And I remember people, actually, Luna, you talked about this on one of our first, interactions on how we normalize being resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought about it until you talked about it. And I'm like, you're
It's
right,
a fact.
man. I'm
It's a fact.
strong and I can overcome everything. But why do I have to?
It's a
And
fact.
my thing is, if I take on that posture and that mindset, I'm gonna perform that way, and I'm outmatched. I'm outnumbered with the trials and the challenges that I'm facing. I'm trying to do it the best I can. And as men, I can tell you from experience, what I do is either I'll cower and not face it, or if I do face it, the only way I'm gonna do it if I'm not equipped is try to outmuscle it, and it just ends up in a bad place. So the mental health piece, I can't stress it enough. Is unlearning some of the things that we have grown to normalize, and really just taking on a whole new posture and understanding that it's
Facts.
okay, not be okay, but not okay to stay there.
Facts. Not only,
Like,
yo, honestly, you got to be intentional about it.
You got to be
Everything
intentional.
you just said, bro, you got to be super intentional about it.
Yeah,
Like women, if you listen to anything here tonight, I'm telling you, intentionally go against the very things that you would normally do as a result of being conditioned to do so. If you would normally do for yourself and you got a guy that's with you, don't do it. Put him in a position to do so. A lot of men, and I think, I'm sorry, I'm a shut up. I'm shut up. A lot of men take the fact that women give men the necessary adversity for them to grow as some kind of insult or challenge to their masculinity, when naturally they're trying to shake you up for you to grow in a specific area. You feel me?
yeah,
If a woman's challenging me in my finances, she want me to get more money.
yeah.
Case in point, there's nothing else to discuss. Point blank, period. That's just what it
And
is.
the thing is, it might not come out the prettiest way, but
Of
as
course
you
not.
grow
Of course
in
not.
leadership, you understand. I learned to try to see past what they say and try to understand what they're trying to communicate.
Facts.
And
Facts.
I remember when y'all, and I've been married and divorced. I remember my wife told me that there can't be two women in the house. It was a gut punch, bro. I was like, what? What you mean? Now man,
Now
big
you
man,
your chest
like
up.
what?
What?
Yeah, I understand. But I can laugh about it now. It wasn't funny then. But what she was telling me is that she's needing me to be a stand-up guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
calm under pressure. When you look into into a mountain range, you see that mountain that's standing up high,
Hmm.
and all this gander and brilliance. You know that it's been there, and
Right.
you can go to sleep knowing that you're gonna wake up tomorrow. That mountain
And
is
it's gonna
gonna be
be
there
there.
again. That's
Right.
what she was asking me to be.
Right.
But because delivery wasn't there, I didn't, and I knew it, but I was butthurt. But understanding that is like, man, I was failing, but didn't like that she was telling me that I was failing.
Right.
and we got
Right.
to understand the back history. Like, I want to take a moment just to normalize the experience. It's not excusing it, but I want to normalize it.
Right.
Because Coach G did a great job going through the history. Then we had Jamel break down some more history. Then we come in with the mental health, and we got Flex being Flex and what he do, and giving that wisdom lens to it all. But if we really think about it, a lot of the breakdown is men never really learned, especially black men, how to properly love a black woman. And I know that we do a really big thing. We say, well, our history started before slavery. I get that, but all I know is the slavery, because what we're living in is a byproduct of that.
Right.
So when we were in captive, our black man could not love his wife. Why? Because as soon as he did, they was broken up. As soon as they
Right.
had enough kids to make sure everybody was in the field, he was sent somewhere else. And
Right.
then when we actually was free, then we had the new deal that was created that had the no man in the house rule. So now you have African Americans needing housing assistance. But if anyone came and there was male shoes, a male scent, a male presence, the whole entire family got kicked out. So now you wondering why we got baby mama, baby daddy trauma. And it's because of the history. So what we have to do as a community is practice what we call in the mental health world neuroplasticity. That means that yes, our brains may be wired a certain way, but now we have to rewire it. So when we're doing this love letter to women, it's because we want to rewire how we really look at the love that we have for each other. So sometimes you may not have an example. We do a lot of saying, well, my daddy never showed me, my granddaddy never showed me, or they didn't show you because they didn't know. So now that you know that there's a different side, it's challenging yourself and having actual conversations like this to say, no, King, you need to step up and be there. And then women being able to say, look, we not trying to get the master to not rape us. We not trying to get the master to not send our husband somewhere. We are here. We are stable. Let them do that. And it goes back to
Right.
that resiliency is a cop out, y'all. That word is thrown around so that they can continue to throw shit our way. Excuse my French, but that's really what it's for. It's to say I'm going to continue to throw this at you so that you can be resilient, and then that's a badge of honor. We got to take that badge off. We got to stop being superwoman so that these men can really show up for us. And men, it's okay to say, I don't know how to be a husband. I don't know how to be a father. I don't know how to be these certain roles, because once you say, I don't know, it gives you the opportunity to really get to know. So before we actually go into our commercial break, I do want to ask this. What do you guys feel you can do tangibly right now to change how Black women view our Black males?
Man, you go
I
ahead,
was,
coach.
oh yeah, I was going to start, and of course, personal examples are always the best. So me and my wife had a conversation, and I said, Laura, I have never been able to have a conversation with or a friendship with other woman without the thought initially being sexual. That was something that I really had to deal with. So, and it's something that I've found myself working with on and a lot better now is these friendships, these interactions. I am really making myself evident that, hey, this is the intention on why I'm desiring this interaction, whether it be business, whether it be, just general friendship. But it, again, it's that communication and then the understanding of, again, what I have at home. So it's like, man, can we be who we need to be for our communities and then not take advantage, of the energy that you got? Because the reality is, as energy beings, you're going to have people that you attract, that draw to you. And one thing us men have, we're very charismatic as Black men. It's something that's just in our blood. And unfortunately, a lot of us utilize the charisma in the wrong way.
Right.
So when we're able to get to that point where we can utilize the charm, we can utilize the charisma, and then not use it to manipulate, the woman that the universe brings into our lives, but you're able to utilize that as that safety, as that protection, understand why you attract female energy, women energy, and then be able to make proper use of that so they actually feel connected. The definite tangible thing is not to approach a woman that's trying to utilize your business, not hit on her and she's just trying to make use of your business. In the music world, I have a friend that she has went through that a lot. And the one thing I wanted to do is start music so I could manage her and not hit on her, so she could not have that experience from a Black male. So, definitely going in that, just being honest with our intentions. And I think that is a indeed true start, because many of us are not honest with our intentions when we first meet Black women.
Hey, but that doesn't mean be honest so that you can so
Yes,
she'll know that you want that. I
correct.
think we change that. Yeah.
Correct.
We're gonna add that to that. Because I say
Yes.
that because people like, man, at least I was open and honest with you up front. But what you're saying is like, man, get that out your mind
Yeah.
and like
Right.
It's so much more. Like, it's so much more to it. And like I say, it's a low level of thinking. When all you could do is think about victimizing and approaching, it shows how low our level of thinking is. It's like ascend your level of thinking, ascend your vibration is so much more than just these physical features, that these women have to offer. They're gifted, they're created with so much from the universe. Take the time to get to know that. Like understand, like again, it goes back to human piece. Like, understand these women are so much more than just what you're seeing with your eyes.
Yeah.
But have the mentality to realize that there's more to it than that.
Yes,
Right.
sir. That's good. That's
Right.
good.
I agree completely. Outside of that, make it your business to protect their vulnerabilities. In most
Oh,
cases, yeah, in most cases, like for example, in therapy, after you have a therapy session, your therapist tends to tell you, hey, look, go journal or do something you like to do. You know what I'm saying? So that you can come down from that emotional, you know what I'm saying? Your vulnerabilities are left exposed. You just unpacked a bunch of stuff that you probably was never going to address without being in therapy in the first place. You feel me? In most cases, these guys, no, excuse me, in most cases, men in general, you know what I'm saying? Black men, we got a black woman that's vulnerable. She's this hardened person that finally opened up to you, and you left her vulnerabilities open without protecting them or feeling the need to ensure that she didn't feel unsafe in that moment. You feel me? So I think it's important to protect their vulnerabilities. That's how I do it. At least I make sure that I let them like, look, if you ever feel like you need somewhere to talk, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You ain't got to worry
yeah,
about nothing. You feel
yeah,
me? I'm here to listen.
yeah. And here's a lot of maturity, man. Just going to a Christian worldview when we say that she suits the purpose. You know, if we think about what a suit does, a suit complements who
Hmm.
you are, and you realize the power in that person that you're dating, or potentially what the power is, if y'all unite and grow, you know, and just become, you know, who you're supposed to be, you realize that she is more, you know, what you said, Coach G, that you realize her humanity, and that she's just not an object that, you know, you can abuse and treat like you want because somebody else is out there ready to, you know, do what you want to do. You build that special relationship with that person and you nurture it, not just, you know, come together, but you nurture it and grow, and understanding who she is and the power that's there. I think that's how we, you know, to answer your question, um, be who we're supposed to be for her, and just recognizing who she is.
I had a saying, and it kind of goes, outside of marriage too, but it's like you have to be married on purpose. And that's something that me and my wife said. And it goes the same way with our friendships and our protection. Like as Jamel said it first, there's an intentionality behind it. Like we have to intentionally do it, because if not, not that it becomes just a byproduct, it just comes something of the past. But again, we have to intentionally do it, because again, the rest of the world is making sure that, again, the woman stays down.
Hmm.
So it's like the closest thing to them, the species that they birthed.
Yeah,
Like I say, they come before us, the species that they birth, like, and they look towards us,
yeah,
for that protection. And again, it has to be done with intentionality. When you see your queens with you, you got to
yeah,
realize, and it ain't that they're in a negative way weaker vessel, but again, even biblically,
yeah,
it's like, look, like I'm built a certain way, I'm created a certain way, and she's created a certain way. Let me walk in that divine masculine. Let her walk in that divine feminine. It's like there's certain things, divine wise, that we understand we should do. And like you say, we need to be able to walk in that and allow her to walk in that divine feminine.
yeah,
Open the door, fellas. Like,
yeah,
hold the
yeah,
umbrella. Walk, let her walk on the side, close to the road. Like I say, just those small things. Though
yeah,
those be small things, again, to earn back trust. Who
yeah,
knows? But again, it's those small things that you're putting into play that's showing that, okay, I'm realizing there's a little more than what I was doing at first. So
yeah, yeah. And I know Mars just jumped back, and I definitely want to get him in, but you got me thinking, man, again, that, man, we just out here flapping in the wind, learning on the go with no value system that we hold to. And my
Fact.
thing is, if you don't have a value system that supersedes your fears, your selfishness,
Any
your,
consequence?
yeah, anything. If you don't have a value system to direct you, man, you're just gonna be going and, man, just taking bodies with you when you go. And
Yep.
so, you know, people say like, "Hey, I'm not a religious person. I'm not." You gotta have something
Hmm.
that directs you and keep you going north. You know, even if you have to detour left and right to get there. If you don't have a value system that exceeds all these fears and a number of other things, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be an ugly journey.
I agree.
Ooh. Y'all definitely hit that. Y'all hit that. And one thing that I really enjoy is that we talked a lot about one, integrity and that transparency and the communication, the chivalry, being able to be intentional. We pulled out a lot of important pieces. So I hope that you guys tonight is realizing that true love is action. And that action is based off of that value system that Flex was just talking about. If you don't have any value, then you're not going to bring that to the table. That's like Coach G was, sharing in our marriage. We got to be open and honest. Like, he told his wife, look, queen, I don't talk to females because when I do, I want to basically, like, my thoughts are sexual in matter. I'm not going to be upset because we had that open communication.
Right.
So sometimes it goes back to me being able to say, look, dude, I attract a whole bunch of masculine energy. Like, that's just who I am. But it doesn't mean that I'm out here trying to do anything. So really, it's being able to come together and having those conversations and not being afraid. Like, just because your significant other is telling you, hey, somebody caught my eye, maybe we need to sit down and talk about it. That don't mean they're trying to preach polygamy to you. It don't mean that they're trying to break a value system. They're just saying, I'm human, this happened. And we have to give ourselves the opportunity to do that. So guys, this was amazing. We're going to go to our commercial break here, and then we're going to make sure that we prepare something special for y'all. So please don't log off just yet. Our men has prepared a special treat for y'all when we come back from this commercial break.
Peace.
Your success ain't gonna happen overnight. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may even take 10 years. For some people, it might take even longer than that. But one thing I do know, as long as you keep fighting and staying consistent, you will make it. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you gonna make it?
Creed. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in it, go and get it. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You got
Fresh phase, my man's with the barbershop. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get my hair lined up. I'm gonna get these locks, all that wash. We're gonna make sure we come through and support. If y'all need a haircut, definitely reach out to see Fresh Phase. Yo, I'm telling you, man, get you a fresh cut. You're looking at the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so if you in Texas, that Longhorn State, by all means, reach out to the king and get that edge up, fresh edge up. We see you, Mr. Miracle Hendricks, out there. Keep doing your thing, all right?
Yes, awesome, awesome. So remember I said we got a special treat. So I'm going to ask y'all to pull up close to your phone, to your computer, and literally you don't want to miss this because our kings have actually prepared a letter of love to our women. So not only did we want to dismantle the things that keep us from loving women, but really being able to allow the men to share their hearts, to share with us what does that love look like. So I'm gonna let y'all just jump on whoever got their letters prepared tonight, and I'm gonna sit back and be serenaded. Luna like love, y'all, so go ahead, serenade me tonight.
I'll kick us off. Yeah. Right. Peace, black woman. Peace, black woman. My predecessor, the one that created me, the one that gave me that life that I know, the ancient archetype of conception, the literal center of my world. I want to acknowledge your presence before our modern time because your history goes beyond what our books tell us. Yeah, civilizations were ran completely by you. You heal us when we are sick. You comfort us when we are broken. You are the perfect opposite to us. From you I came, from you I will go back. Forgive me for mishandling you through my ignorance. Forgive me for not seeing you as humans for the majority of my life and only objects. Forgive me for projecting sexualized thoughts where you are simply needing my protection. We do grow up. We do reach a point where we see our error. We do reach a point where we take responsibility for our actions, and we do submit back to your divine feminine. I'm lost without you. But thank you, black woman, for never turning your back on us. Thank you for never turning your back on me. And, from this day forward, I'll never turn my back on you. So I love you, black woman. Peace.
That's dope.
Yeah, man. That's something special. I know I ain't going after him.
Yeah.
Somebody else got to follow.
Mars, you ain't talking. You want to go next?
Yeah, I might as well just jump in, eh?
All right.
All right. To the woman that this speaks to, I can provide. I can be physically strong and mentally strong. I can be a shelter. I can even carry all the groceries in the house in one trip. But one thing I cannot do is be a woman. I cannot bear the weight of a woman holds just from being a woman. I cannot give birth, and I cannot nurture the way a woman nurtures. Women are special. They are beautiful in every shape and shade. They are unique down to their core. And that is why I am a man, and I shall provide a safe environment for women, use my strength to protect women, and shelter their vulnerability and their flaws. I have not deserved love from your women. So in this letter to women, I'd like to send positive energy and love to the women who have impacted my life and many others who will continue to nurture and inspire humanity. And thank you.
Man, dope, bro.
Appreciate it.
All right. Flex, you gonna go next? What you want to
I
do?
don't have anything. I'm over here producing, so.
All right, I'm gonna keep it simple. Black woman, thank you for my life. Through you, I've taken my first breath, and prayerfully with you, I'll take my last. Black woman, thank you for giving me purpose. Your desires become my hobbies and your needs are my labor. Black woman, thank you for my vision. You got me with your nurturing spirit in my youth, and your lack gives me safe space to create industry to satisfy the emptiness. I appreciate your support, your words, your inspiration, your resilience, even though it was forced on you. But most of all, your divine femininity throughout it all. I love you.
Whew. Yes,
Oh,
Kings.
oh,
Y'all,
yeah.
y'all did that. And trust
Yeah.
me, if y'all haven't recorded that, y'all need to record each one of those and put it up because women need to hear it. And we live in a time where we don't do a lot of fully saying words that actually have meanings. Everything is a TikTok, a bebop, a song, mumble rap, or whatever, but it's not really the real thing. So to my black kings, this black queen accepts your apology, accepts your protection, accepts who you are. And I thank you for giving us permission to take our resiliency badges off today. So I really hope that everyone that was watching this tonight, especially my black queens, that you feel loved, that you feel protected, that you feel valuable, that you feel enough, that you see that there are men out here that genuinely do care about you. So if you are in a space or place where you don't feel that, queen, you need to rethink it because there's some people out here that is ready to love. So kings, before we get off tonight, let the world know if you have anything coming up that you would love for us to support you, or just tell us a little bit about what you got going on, because I want to make sure that we're able to show back the love that you so graciously gave out tonight.
Yeah, you can find me. I am J Facts, Google Facts only. I'm everywhere. um, or if you want to support, get on Spotify, tune in. Last podcast episode, I think I called it "We Were So Happy Poor." We were talking about discussing the simplicity of life and relationships before all the mess and responsibility of life, children, jobs, money, etc., etc. But I'm here. Just Google me or look out for me on factsonly@gmail.com.
Deal. Peace, y'all. Look, got a few things going on. So first, this Sunday, Hampton Roads Committee of 200 plus men is a networking group I'm a part of, and we are actually having our Money Moves event. We're encouraging everyone to come out, spend at least $20 at a selected Black-owned business. This particular event is going to be at Fruit Splash Factory, located at 2108 Starmount Parkway, Chesapeake, Virginia. We're actually shooting my next music video at this location. So it's a lot going on. Hopefully make it a big community event. But before then, this Wednesday, tune in, the Culture Podcast. We'll be working on March the 9th, kind of detailing the Notorious B.I.G., commemorating his anniversary, but we're also going to be highlighting two women, Hampton Roads artists, two local artists from Hampton Roads, Virginia, Miss Nova Rain and Katie the Queen. Definitely diving in some conversation with that and some of the realities our artists face. You know, especially in Hampton Roads, is very violent here for artists. So we're going to touch on that. Again, my EP's out, Souls of Vern. You can find that streaming on all platforms. Catch me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Willie L. Green III, G Joint Productions, you name it, I am there. And I network. So yeah, connect with me and we'll build. Let's get it.
Brother Mars. My business is called Neurospace LLC. Look me up. I got an Instagram, just started working on the TikTok. You can look me up on Facebook. Trying to bring awareness to mental health for the youth and the community through programs and everything else. So look me up. Want to link with me, want to talk with me, I don't mind. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah. And for me, it's a couple things. One, follow all things going on with Floor is Yours podcast. You know, we said a million times, but we really mean it. Follow our page, man. We got a lot of dope material coming out, a lot of great shows. We're hitting those topics that are tough to talk about, holding ourselves accountable. We're not desired trying to show you that, hey, we know how to point out wrongs and flaws. We're owning our own and using that as a way to build our community. So, man, please stay tuned, follow us, and tune in. I want to show just a short video. I just thought about it while we was on this show, but the video is called "Protecting Our Women," and then we had a guest that was on before, and man, he gave a just off the cuff, a spirited conversation where we were holding ourselves accountable. So I just want to share that real quick before we leave the air. Here we go.
We feel that we're, in a situation where we make them feel that way about us. What are your thoughts?
I hate that our women don't feel protected. They should feel protected at all times. They should feel that it doesn't matter what. If they're at an event and they just look over and their husband or the person of interest is not there, and they see another black man or see another man, they should just feel like, oh, there's protection here. We should just carry ourselves in a manner where I'm the protector. I don't care who's around. I'm gonna be but we've seen too many men cower when they should not have cowered. They say a soldier dies but once, but a coward dies like 1,000 deaths, something like that, because he dies every day. I don't ever want the woman that I'm with to feel unprotected. Our sisters, our women, and just women in general, should feel like they don't have to worry about somebody doing anything to them that they don't want to be done to them because there is a man around. I like that feeling of I'm a protector. Exactly. I like the way it makes me feel to know that I ain't no chump, Right. And so, I just, my hope is that we show other men how to be men. It doesn't mean that we jump out there and we start shooting first. That's not what I'm saying. But it means that in the face of adversity, I am willing to put myself on the line to make sure that all of us get a chance to go home. And if ain't nobody going home that night, let it be me versus her. And I'm saying that, generally I know the protection is more than that, but I am saying I want her to know, man, I'm willing. Yeah. I'm willing to whatever that means. I'm willing. And so I hate that our sisters feel unprotected. And I want to know if there's something that we as men can share with other men on how to make them feel that way. And if it's something that maybe women have noticed that we are not doing, where they could tell us, well, maybe it's this, so that we can then begin to do it.
Ooh.
Man, he preached a sermon. He preached a sermon, fam.
Man, well, I know I can say that I am walking away tonight feeling way more protected than what I've ever done. So I'm so grateful that the Floor is Your podcast brought these like-minded kings together to really give a love letter to us women. Women out there, please know that there are men that want to love you. Self-permission to step into that femininity. Give yourself permission to not do all the things. So, kings, we are about to end this thing. It was amazing. But before we jump off, do you guys have any parting thoughts that you want to share before we close out tonight?
There's nothing wrong with femininity. There's nothing wrong with femininity. Every human being is twofold, both masculine and feminine. It just so happens that men are 70% and 30 feminine. And women, you're 70% feminine and 30 masculine. Stop trying to force the 30%. Embrace what you are and love each other for God's sake.
Yeah. Dope.
Absolutely. Like Flex's man said on the recording, you want your woman to feel protected, and that's what this one is about, for our women, especially our women of color, to feel protected. And it doesn't matter if you're the buffest dude in the room to the smallest dude in the room. It doesn't matter. It's just about you and how you make them feel. You can be 4'11", and you can make some kind of woman feel protected. So it's all about you in here.
Yep.
Yeah, we got each other back. So ultimately, I want to communicate that. When you look towards me, and I think I speak for all the gentlemen here, you look towards us, understand y'all have that protection. You got somebody that has that mental capacity to understand, it is a little bit more than what the average person is really doing. So know that we are out here, the called are here, the mature are here, and we want to make sure that y'all feel our presence. So thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to protect you.
It's dope, man. And I'll just, a couple things. One, circle back to remind y'all the show was a challenge for us to make sure that we're mentally sound so that we can be who we're supposed to be for our families and our community. The first angle attack is to attack the household, the family. If you attack the family, then that weakens the community. When the community is weak, it just feeds from there. And now you get what we see here in America. It's the misrepresentation of who we are by the few and the minority, which just because they're small don't mean that they don't carry a great weight. But I know that, I'm around a lot of like-minded men that are showing their value in this community. And those are men like that mountaintop range that I talked about earlier, that when you look up, you know that they're going to be there, and if not, part of that of being there is making sure that we're maintaining our health here. So again, man, this is a great conversation, a needed conversation. Thank you, Luna, for moderating. Thank you, men, gentlemen, for participating and pouring from the heart. The audience that stuck with us throughout. Again, this is just one of many conversations we're going to have that's leading us up into an event that we're going to have in June, where we're going to be in Vegas. We got called to speak for an event in Vegas on mental health of Black men. So again, we're going to be speaking a lot. We got another show next week with two great individuals, Dr. Elizabeth Jennings and Dr. Rod Duckett. And we're going to be talking about, more in detail about how we can be more deliberate in the moment, and not just in the moment, but, jumping out there and not just being reactive to everything. That we can strengthen ourselves so we're ready when those issues do come. So thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you all for your participation.
Absolutely. Y'all, please make sure that y'all share, subscribe, tell your family and your friends about us. The Floor is Yours podcast is not your typical podcast, y'all. And to be a part of this family is literally what it is a family. So when you go and you subscribe, you are a part of our family. We're not just up here just talking because we want to. We really are pouring into knowledge. All words are spells. Everything that you read, you say, you touch, you hear, anything that got a word to it is a spell. So while you're listening to something, why not listen to something that's worthwhile, that's really going to feed your soul? So make sure you come on and subscribe with The Floor is Your podcast. Thanks again, crew. This was a great show, an amazing show. And I know it's going to set some people free, going to mend some relationships, and allow for women to feel protected and for our Black men to feel like they can protect our women. So make sure you continue to tune in. We'll see you on Wednesday for the Culture Podcast. And we love you guys. Y'all have an amazing night. Peace and blessings, everybody.
I'm writing this, try not to cry. You stabilize my environment, inspired when you have my eye. My youth was consumed by vain beauty. Little did I know that vanity could masquerade the unruly. Coolly high love times, we reminisce, paint a vivid picture. Rasta come and lift her. Brethren, I don't want to see another sister get left up, creep by another mister.
It was a great segment, guys. That was an amazing segment, y'all.